Hello, fellow weaver. I'm your host, Willow Goose, and today we're going to be talking about Shuttle-Craft Guild Bulletin number 3, dated November 1924. The bulletin starts out with a discussion of the included draft, how you use it in a project, etc. But we're going to skip down to the really good part. Anyone who wishes may see what these patterns would look like without the labor of working them out on paper. Take a small mirror and have it cut into 2 strips. Set these 2 strips of mirror on the drawing at right angles to the paper and to each other. If you wish to see how the Matilda Bacon pattern looks with additional repeats, turn the page upside down and set the mirrors along the bottom and inner edges of the diagram and look into the corner thus made. If you wish to see the American Beauty pattern, set one of the mirrors through the middle of the block that corresponds with the threads 109 to 118 and set the other at right angles to it at a point in the center of the upper large block of the lower star of the flowery figure. A pair of mirrors should be part of the equipment of anyone who works with patterns. Now, I have to say that yes, I have seen the mirror trick, but I guess I never thought to use it here. So if you look at some of these old photographs or new photographs, as long as the photograph or the drawing is straight, then you can use a mirror to envision different variations of that pattern. And that's a really good trick. These days you get 2 cheap mirrors off of Amazon, tape them together, and you're on your way. So we're going to try to get a pair of our own mirrors because we're likely to agree with Mary. A pair of mirrors should be a part of the equipment of anyone who works with patterns. Now, the next thoughts that she had in this bulletin were regarding selling on consignment. And we've done our own selling on consignment, but here's what she says about it first, and then we'll provide commentary. My own experience, however, leads me to believe that, as a rule, this method is unsatisfactory both to the weaver and to the seller. This is the way it works. The weaver is inclined to sell on consignment, not her or his best and most saleable work, because she knows she can sell that very easily herself and make more money than by selling through a shop. And instead, things of doubtful saleability, things perhaps that may have been left on her hands for a long time. If the seller accepts such articles, as she's inclined to do, because apparently they cost her nothing and may sell, she burdens herself with a slow-moving stock that takes up space and is apt to prove very expensive in time and trouble. Moreover, there is usually a great deal more profit on sales from regular stock than on consignment sales, so naturally enough, the seller will give more effort to selling regular stock than consigned items. These may hang about for months or even years to the disappointment of the consignor, whose time and money are tied up in the articles. In my opinion, it is better business for the weaver to sell her work outright, even for a good deal lower price than she might possibly obtain through a sale on consignment. She thus has an immediate return for the money put into materials and for the time put into the weaving, and can put these into a new undertaking. It is better business for the seller too, because in buying outright, a good deal more care is taken to buy only saleable and attractive things, thus ensuring a brisk turnover of stock and a better percentage of profit. I will say that my experience is the same as Mary's. Not so much that I tried to pawn off less saleable items in a consignment shop. I find that part interesting but quite believable. But The seller will take anything. And that may mean your anything. It could mean somebody else's anything. And if the seller is not particular, then it starts looking like junk to the buyers. And so if the buyers see a lot of junk hanging around, they think that this is not a good place for them to shop, and then they're going to leave without making a purchase. However, if the shop has a lot of higher quality items and you are among high quality items, and we'll assume that you are giving the shop high quality items, then those items are more likely to sell. Now, to be fair to Mary, she does go on to talk about a few rare situations where she believes that consignment works well for both the buyer and the seller. But I will say that for the most part, unless you're just starting up in an area, which is kind of her exception, if it's something where you've been doing business for a long time and the shop has been doing business for a long time, then I believe that the passages that I read are accurate and consignment sales are generally not that good. And frankly, if you're making stuff and you can't sell it outright to a shop or to a customer, you may want to rethink what you're making, or maybe the colors, or maybe some of the finishing. But I think, having been through this myself, I would rather not sell, reevaluate, and then determine what I need to do to make my product saleable than to have my stuff taken by a shop sitting around doing nothing. And in one case, it faded in the sun and it really wasn't any good after it left the consignment shop unsold. This has been bulletin number 3, and we can't wait for bulletin number 4. Hope you have a happy weaving day. Bye.